All right, everybody, we are live. Okay. Whew. That was a tough one. Hey, you guys, when it's live streaming, sometimes there's technical difficulties. Sometimes we have trouble getting online. You know how it can be sometimes. Anyway, welcome to Transformation Tuesday. Welcome to the Healthy Trinity show. And I'm going to go ahead and call it a show. I know I've been debating um, on what to actually call it. Some people say just go ahead and call it a show, a podcast. When I look up the definition, I'm like, that's not a podcast. It's not a podcast. Video podcast. I don't even like that. I just don't like the sound of it. So we'll just call it a show. Okay. All right. So anyway, this week with our Transformation Tuesday, we have Andrea Nagey with us. She is, you know what? I'm just going to show you and then we'll bring her on. All right. Andrea's here with us, everybody. Let's go ahead and say hello. Now, hey, real quick, everybody, as a reminder, as you're coming in, as you're watching, I want you guys to say hello. Drop a little hello in the chat. Tell us where you're coming in from. And as always, if you have any questions or comments or you want to chime in with something, go ahead and we will read it on while we're live streaming and then we can answer. So, Andrea, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an honor because I really enjoy, I swear every time I hear your story, I'm like, I want to like, yeah, whoa! I'm like excited. I'm like ready to go. I'm like, just, yes, let's do it. Everybody, blah! You know, I feel like fired up, not just, you know, like, oh, that's a really good story. You know, congratulations for you. You're great. You've done a little hard work. No, I'm like, let's go. Let's bring it. Well, I just got really excited there. Yeah.
You and me both, man.
Yeah, right. So
I can just carry you around with me.
Right. I'll hype you up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, thank you for coming on the show. This is one of those shows where we just get to kind of just chat with each other, and you know, we get to share our story because, you know, I always tell everybody that I bring people on the show that I feel you need to share your story. People need to see this type of dedication or these type of how people overcome obstacles, or, you know, when you kind of doubt yourself, like, I don't know if my goals, if I could do, you look, other people have done what you want to do. So why can't you do it? And that's why we bring on people like you who have done some pretty incredible things. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right in, Andrea? And I want you to share your story with everybody when it comes to improving your health.
Yeah. So thanks again for having me on. You have been somebody that I've been watching from the very beginning, right? You're one of the stories that helped inspire me. So, you know, just know that everybody that's out there, like, we all touch each other in different ways. And the thing is that what happened for me was I was in a super dark place in my life, and you never know when that next person you meet is going to change your life. I tell everybody that, and honestly, that couldn't be more true for me for now, for this.
Yeah.
So where I started was I started at 319 pounds. I had just been kind of going up and up and up, right? Just not really taking care of myself. I had suffered some tragic losses. In 2019, my little brother tragically committed suicide and took his own life at 32. And it was. And, you know, you think that things are like, wow, like, this is the worst thing I've ever been through. And you don't have any gauge, right? When your 10 level is a pain, right? Like, what's a 10? Well, a 10 is the worst thing I've ever felt ever. But if I feel something worse than a 10, then that's my new 10. Then basically when my brother committed suicide, I was like, man, this is for sure my new 10. And it was, and it still is very, very painful. And then I had a breakup with my ex-boyfriend. We were living together, and we were together for 10 years. And it was during this terrible time, and it was catastrophic. And I was like, man, I was homeless. I literally had nowhere to live. And so after that, my sister and I had started moving in together, and we went in, and after 3 months of what we thought was going to be the best part of our life, which was amazing, she, age 45, went to sleep with her head hurting and took a nap and literally just never woke up again. She passed away in her sleep. And it was then my new 10. And, you know, I thought a lot about how I was going to come across and say this during your show, because it's very hard to talk about still, you know, all this time later. That was in 2020. And then basically, you know, in life, right, like time just passes. And I was like, well, you go in these ebbs and flows. And essentially what happens after something tragic is you're like, I can either give up or not. And I surely gave up. I was in a super dark place. I was drinking all the time. I was eating unhealthy, making super terrible choices. And December 12th of 2020, my now coach, Alex Corona, hit me up out of nowhere, complete stranger to my life, and literally just stopped and just asked me like what my health goals were. And some people have heard the story, so don't be offended. But I looked at her and I was like, what is this? What is this beautiful chick like this? I call her Latina Barbie. I'm like, what is she going to teach me? I'm 320 pounds. She doesn't know shit about losing weight. And, you know, it's one of those things where I was like, whatever. So I kind of left her on red, and I was like, we'll come back to her. And I couldn't, because I didn't want to talk to her. She was intimidating. And I was like, what does she want? Surely she's trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
And she wasn't. She was trying to change my life. And that's basically the long story of how we got here. 320 pounds. She asked me to start a program, told me all about it. I told her my sad story. She read it and said, let's jump on a call.
Yeah.
And I felt like I knew her. I felt like, you know, I've tried everything else. I've literally tried every other thing you can think of with the exception of surgery. And I'm diabetic. I have high blood pressure, high cholesterol. My kidneys are failing, and I'm going to turn 40. I turned 40 this year in July. And I was like, what do I have to lose? So when she said, give me 30 days, I did. And I lost 27 pounds. So first 30 days.
First 30 days, 27 pounds. What do you have to lose? Wait, what do you have to gain? Your life back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the long and short of it, is when we, you know, and that's the thing is this is what gets me fired up about your story, is that you come from that, you were in that dark place, and you really laid it out there. I mean, very frankly to us all. And so you get that message. Someone's trying to sell me something, right? Yeah. But we see past that. We can see past that. We see life changing, because we've done it before. You know, we recognize something about this program. We recognize something about improving our health that not only just helps us lose weight, but it gains our life back. We can come back from that. And I think at that time, you know, when we're all in that place, we are looking for something, and we may not know it. And like you said, Latina Barbie came along, and you weren't going to duck her. I mean, who's going to duck her? Nobody's going to duck her. She's scary. Mm-hmm. She scares me sometimes. She scares
me now, guy.
She scares me sometimes. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Alex. I know you're watching, Alex. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I'm not kidding.
You're not kidding. Yeah. But, you know, the thing is that there is a way. And that's what we quickly find out with this program, is there is a way. There is a way to improve our life. There's a way to improve our health. So I'm really happy that you found this. I'm really happy that you are now, you're still on your journey though, right? You're not where you want to be.
No. So I started in January 13th was my first day, 319.4 pounds. As of today, I'm down 115 pounds. So about 205.
Yes.
Yeah. And I want to get down to 140. So it'll be about March or April, maybe June, but probably I'm sorry, May, but probably April is what I'm shooting for.
You know what the coolest thing about what you just said is that you were predicting it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, well, I hope one day I'm going to. It's no. You're like, by April or around there,
Yeah.
I will be hitting that.
Yeah.
That's so incredible, because that's the predictability of when we start improving our habits, is that the weight will come off. That's not a question.
Yeah.
Right? We're not doing some fad diet that only works for a little bit. We're not doing magic pills or powders or any. This is the real deal. We're changing our habits and our body becomes healthy. So
for sure.
That's so cool that you're able to just say, yeah, I'm going to be there in around April.
Yeah, absolutely.
So look out.
And the only reason it's even that long, it should have been March, but if we're being completely transparent, right, which I think I've come to be known for, I think the thing is that I'm my own worst enemy, right? When I start to get on a good trend or whatever, the program works. But when you start being like, no, I don't need this program. Like, I've got this figured out. Mm-hmm. When I go off step or I take detours or whatever, I'm just hurting myself. So for anybody that maybe just started or is thinking about program, I think that's one of the things that I have to take away. Like, if I'm being completely honest, you are only as good as you are becoming, right? Like, if you are not willing to embrace the program, this isn't going to work. But if you are, then it will. I'm living proof of it.
And so when you started, obviously, just by the way you kind of were like, I'll just leave her on read, and she's trying to sell me something. Were you reluctant to start, or how did that work? And when did that all kind of go away?
Yeah, so she actually threatened me on that call. I'm just kidding. That part is a joke, but the threats came later. But yeah, she honestly, truly, this is all kidding aside. I told her my sad story, and when she still pushed through, it was like, some of my closest friends haven't asked me, like, truly, like, how are you feeling? And I was like, I mean, if you hear all this story and you still like want to know more, then you are either a glutton for punishment or like you actually genuinely want to help people. Mm-hmm. And so I said, you know what? Like, what could she has nothing to gain from this. Like, okay, so let's just say worst case, she is selling me something. If I do lose weight, which she wasn't, but if she does, and she is, then I just don't do it again. And so when I started, I was really like, she just said, please just give me 30 days. I promise you it's going to work. Just give me 30 days. And I was like, all right. And as the weight starts coming off, right, and as my mind starts getting clearer and I'm sleeping better and I'm getting off some of my medications and my A1C is coming down and all these things are happening, right, you essentially go, wow, maybe this isn't right. This isn't just some fad. It's not a pill, a shake, or, some quick, easy way to do this. Like, it was discipline, right? It required that. But I think as I started embracing more of what she was saying, and how the program, right, how she's guiding me through this program, it was one of those things where I was like, this is working. So why am I fighting it, right? It's like somebody trying to teach you Spanish. And you're like, but I don't think that sounds right. Like, I'm going to maybe do it this way. Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, I'm going to rewrite the alphabet because I don't really think it should be spelled out. Exactly. Like our own thoughts, like you said, our own thoughts are what get in our way. And I've even had friends too that, when one of my friends will want to start program and then they do, and the other one will make fun of them. You got suckered into the. I'm like, you know what? If there's something that comes along that's going to improve your health, that's going to help you sleep better, that's going to give you more energy, that's going to help you lose weight, that's going to help you be in a better spot and a better mindset, sure, sell me on that.
Exactly.
Give me some of that.
Believe the hype.
Yeah, believe the hype. And so it's just interesting how not only can we let other people deter us from doing something that's good because of a preconceived notion, we'll also do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
Because of what what's generally accepted as, oh, you're just trying to sell me something. But you know what? Some people genuinely care. Yeah. And when we catch fire with this mission that we're on, of just literally helping the world get healthy, you really start to understand that this isn't just selling. We're sharing our story and we're trying to help people. So good for you for actually starting, even though you were reluctant, because some people won't even do that.
Yeah. I just told somebody today, I was like, if you wait till you're ready, you're going to be waiting forever. There's never going to be a good time.
Nope. Never going to be a good time. Should we wait after the holidays? Why?
Yeah. There will be another holiday.
Yeah, there's always going to be a holiday. There's always going to be a birthday, a weekend. Family's always going to come into town. So if you're waiting for a few meals and a few parties to happen, sorry to tell you, but you're going to be waiting like that forever. So,
Yeah.
so then, you mentioned, Andrea, like your A1C coming down, your blood pressure came down, your weight was coming down. Tell me how that felt for you, not only just like as in a celebration, like watching the numbers come down, but how did your body feel? How did your body react to that?
Yeah. So it was actually kind of crazy. One of the things that I noticed right away was I have struggled with insomnia my whole life, anxiety, depression. It's been like a major issue for me always. And one of the things that this program was guiding me towards, right, we have something called the life book. And, as you know, that's a huge pillar. I call it the backbone of our program.
Yeah.
And as I'm going through this life book, right, I'm basically like fighting myself. I'm essentially saying like, dang, like these memories that I don't want to really deal with in third grade, that, this kid was bullying me for being fat. Like I didn't realize like all these things had added up to where we got here. So when I started losing weight, I also started gaining like mental clarity, and I was able to process things better, and I was doing better at my job, and I was able to have more confidence, which made me want to go out more, which made me want to be able to talk to people more, which made me happier, right? So it was all these things. But with the A1C specifically, that was a trip, dude, because diabetes is serious. And I think that sometimes people don't realize, like when your blood sugar is not regulated, your whole body is off. You get headaches, heat waves, different kinds of sweats. Like, I would be sitting in like the 40-degree weather and like just full of sweat. I'm overweight. I have diabetes. My blood pressure is crazy. And so all that stuff was changing. And I was like, dang, like this is really cool. I can sleep better, which makes me think better. And I just feel like I'm an overall better person. The number one thing people said when they started to see me and they hadn't seen me right away, even like more than I heard about the weight loss, they were like, you genuinely look like you're smiling and you mean it. And like, that's such a big thing, like to hear somebody say, coming from such a dark place. It's one of those things where it's like, man, like that's cool. Like you don't think about that stuff, but that's really what the program did the most for me was I guess, as corny as that sounds, like give me my smile back, but that's really what it did. So
I mean, it does sound corny until you actually understand. I mean, and that's kind of the reason why I always like to make those little videos for everybody to see on here, is because look at not only just the weight, but look at the face.
Yeah.
Right. Look at the face and look at the smile. Look at the eyes, and it's full of hope. It's full of new life. It's full of so many things that you've resigned to in the past before that. And that's how I was. And I was the same way. Like I had resigned to a lot of things. Like I'm over 40. I'm over 40. I'm overweight.
This is just what my life is.
This is just how I'm going to be, like, and then it's not true. Like your body starts to react, like you said, better sleep and lower blood pressure. I can't, the first time I saw when I went and got my physical after I lost 70 pounds was seeing the blood pressure was like, it was like, I literally, drum roll, please. Like I could hear it, and I was waiting for it. And I'm like, come on, jackpot. Because I was always like 130 over like 80, 136 over 80. I always had like moderately high blood pressure. And then when I finally, after I was, 175 pounds, and I was like, okay, what's the blood pressure going to be? And it was, what was it? It was like 116. I was like 116, or it was like 112 over 69 or something like that. I was like, holy crap. Like I did not expect that. The beats per minute on the heart rate went down. I'm like, oh my God. And the nurse was like, wow, that's really good. You're in really good shape. And I was like, am I? And she's like,
I am.
I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. I like that. And those are the type of things that when we get healthy, our body reacts to. So that's amazing that you feel it and you can see it in you. Now, how did you? Okay, so coming from a kind of a difficult place, from a darker place, having some tragedies happen to you, that really had to do a number on your mindset, on your outlook on things. So, how did that make its turnaround? How did it go from all these bad things happening to fine, I'm reluctant, but I'll try this, I'll do something. And then you're like, oh, I'm losing weight. Okay. How did the mindset help with that? And when did the shift come?
I think the shift is always continuing, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think if I told people like I'm right as rain, like every day is, sunshine and butterflies, it's not, right? Like
Right.
for sure, I'm sure in the comments section, my coach is probably saying something like, yeah, it's definitely not. Like, but I think that it's the shift. The shift changed when I was like, I'm here for more, right? When you really focus and you can embrace your why. When I talk to my friends and my clients and everybody about this, you have to have a why that's so powerful. Essentially, it will crush you. It's worse than dying if you don't reach it, right? And for
Wow.
me, when I decided that my why was trying to overcome the survivor's guilt of having, outlived my sister and my brother,
Mm-hmm.
when I decided that was important, that's when I was like, you know what? This is more, I have something more important here than just this, than just, like you said, resigning to whatever it is that
Yeah.
I've resigned myself to eating cake and having alcohol every day. This is what my life has become. And, and so that's really what started it. But I will say that our community 100% is what has held me in it. That is really like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, right? Where you're hyping me up and stuff, and seeing those videos and seeing those, the pictures and stuff. And it's really those memories of like, dang, I was so unhappy. I asked Alex, my coach Alex today, I said, why didn't anybody say anything to me? And she's like, because they either didn't know how, or because they were just as unhappy as you are,
Yeah.
or were, right? So nobody wants to be the first one in the crowd going, I'm hungry, right? Because essentially then everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm hungry too. But nobody wants to be the first one. Same thing
Right.
with this. Nobody wants to be the first one to say, I'm miserable. Like, who else is anybody else miserable? But
Yeah.
like, I ultimately ended up becoming that for my friends and my family.
So you became the person that would raise their hand first?
Yeah, I ended up doing that because of the program. So
Yeah.
that's what, you're asking, like, what has held me in or what's
Yeah.
shifted it. Seeing all of my family and friends, when they saw me and the impact it had on my life, being able to impact them, because they joined the program. Some of them have joined the
There it
program,
is.
but even the ones that haven't, they're all trying really hard to be in a better place. But either way, the ones that aren't, they're just not around anymore. So either way, it's helped my mindset be better.
Yeah.
And that's what's enabled me to sort of stay disciplined, stay on my journey. But truly, it's not just any one thing. It's our community. It's the fact that I can count on any one of you guys to anytime. If I need anything at all, like I can reach out, and these complete strangers, you guys have supported me in ways that people I've known my whole life haven't. So, it gives you like hope still.
Yeah. And that's the truth too, is that community is going to be there for you when you're not. Because it's like you said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough. And you're going to lose focus. And you're going to have the days where you want to stop, you want to quit, or you want to whatever. And as long as we have that community, and in our community, in our health community, we have hundreds of people that we're close to. Like you probably have at least 100 new friends that you're close to that you never had before.
For sure.
And that
Absolutely.
you can reach out to. You can reach out to me anytime and say, oh my God, dude, like I need help with something.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Same. Yeah.
And that's what carries us through. And that's what helps us just really, really change our mindset too. But it seems like, because now you're the first one to, in your family, like you said, kind of raise your hand and start taking the lead on this stuff. It seems like you've sort of become a leader in your own right through your family and friends like that, because, they're now seeing what you're doing. Yeah. They're seeing that smile come back. They're seeing the weight. They're seeing you come back from, buried under all the clay, under all the stuff that we've really just, covered ourselves in. So tell me about that, Andrea, because now you're coaching people. And from what I understand from Alex, you are doing pretty well in that. So how does that attribute to not only your journey as far as your health goes, but your outlook as far as where it's going to go from here?
Yeah. So the very first call, that infamous call where I did get on the phone with Alex, she told me, you're going to be a health coach. And I told her, yeah, right. That's not, just get that right out of your head. Like that's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. And, essentially, as I didn't tell anybody that I was on program, only 2 people in all of life knew that I was on program at all. And when I decided to make well, I didn't really decide. I'm hesitating because I'm trying to think of how to say this politically correctly, but Alex basically forced me into putting my story onto Facebook, is really how it happened. When that happened, my family found out that I was doing this, and it was kind of a shock, right? 27 pounds in a month. Like, nobody saw that coming. Yeah. And I made my debut with a a video that she posted on Facebook. And it's me holding a bag of dog food and talking about how that's the emphasis of that's the equivalent of what I've lost and everything. When my family found out, they were really like, wow, like, first of all, I hadn't told anybody for now what was 6 weeks. And then for them to see this drastic change, it wasn't even like a little change. It was like a huge change. Yeah. People don't realize 30 pounds is like a toddler. Like, I mean, that's a huge amount of weight. And it is a lot of weight. And so when they saw me, they were like, wait a minute. So then, of course, they're asking the questions like, what are you doing? But my aunts, my mom was actually living with me because, again, she was trying to help. We were trying to help each other get through some loss. Yeah. And my mom was like, what are you doing? And I was just like, I'm doing this program. And so I'm telling them, and they're like, that can't be that simple. And I'm like, it's really that simple. Like, it's really as simple as eat the food, drink the water, and do, some mind work. And if there's anything in between those things, we have a community that can help you. We have coaches, things like that. And so I basically, more and more, I was like referring these people to Alex and saying, hey, hook up with my coach. You guys want to know, here's my coach. And she's like, I don't want to talk to any more of your family. Like, you need to coach them because here's what's happening. I'm not talking to them anyway. You're sending me all this information or sending them all my information. They're calling you anyway. And I was like, whatever. But she was right. And then I was like, well, I guess she's right, like usual, right? She loves hearing she's right because she usually is. But right. But when they started, it was like this trickle-down effect, right? Because if you think about it, I grew up in a very, very Hispanic household. Finish your food. You don't get up from the table till you're done. You eat those cold eggs from now till 3 months from now. Like, don't think you're getting something different, right? That thing. And we don't waste food in this house. And so we all grew up in that same thing. My mom is one of 7 kids. My dad's one of 5. So it's this huge family. And the thing is with all these people that were seeing it, they were all learning these same bad habits when we were growing up, right? They were all the ones teaching us. So when I'm telling them, like, hey, maybe let's cool it on the birthday wish, like birthday parties, like, let's do this. It was like one of those things where you didn't want to be the odd man out. You didn't want to be the one in the picture that was like not smiling, right? That was hiding behind something. Now all my family's like fighting for the front. and look at me. Yeah. And so that happened for a while. Like, I was sending them to Alex. 2 months into my journey, we were on this training series that, the company puts on for us. Amazing, March Madness series. And Alex is very smart. She knows that I like to learn stuff and I'm constantly reading and watching things and just absorbing information. Yeah. And she would send me these little snippets of these videos that our mentor, Jamil, was putting on. And she would be like the beginning of the story, but not the end. Like, she did this like 2 different days. And I'm like, well, what's the end? And she's like, well, you have to be a coach to find out. And I was like, hold up. That can't be real. And so I never knew. This 3rd day she tried that. And I was like, forget you. I got this. So I went and signed up to be a coach thinking like, I'm just going to find out the story ends. Yeah. And not realizing like, that's not how it works. Like, you sign up to be a coach, you're actually going to have to talk to people. You're going to coach. It changed. I say this story and it's 100% fact. She would say it if she was on this on this live with us. But I will say that it has completely changed my life. So maybe it is her shoving me, like it's when you're learning how to swim, right? You just shove them off the end of the diving board. That was really how I started. But truly what's kept me in it is that it has kept me more accountable. I do think about the fact that, like, if I go to a party and I run into one of my family members or one of my clients, like, what would I think if they like saw me off program or something? Not to mention like all the people that are, I hate to say it, but that are counting on me failing, right? Most people want me to fail because they want to say, I knew that wasn't going to work. So I allow that to drive me. But with my clients too, that really is the most important thing to me, to make sure that they understand I can do it and so can they. And if we, if I have this huge astronomical goal and you have not as quite a big goal, then guess what? Like, if I can do it, you can do it. So that's right. That's really how I
could do it. You could do it. If I could do it, you could. And that's funny. That's funny. Accountability. And that thought of, well, I don't want them to see me, pigging out on whatever, like I went to a birthday party a couple months ago with my friends and none of my friends have done the program at all. None of them. but I went inside and I snuck a piece of cake. Actually, it was my second piece of cake, whatever. But I went inside to eat the second piece because I didn't want them to see me. And I come back out, and what do I see? My friend goes, "Here, check this." She took a picture of me eating the piece of cake. She goes, "I'm going to post this on." I'm like, okay, you're right. Okay. Health coach, I gotta stay, but that accountability, right? Because not only the people that are, like you said, that are on your program, clients are watching you, it's also the people that haven't done it that are maybe just watching you and they're not sure, or even the people that want you to fail.
Yeah.
They're watching you, they're looking. So
exactly.
To me, that accountability is huge. And then there's that other aspect of this too, that when we do become a coach, there is a financial aspect to this that is, how do I put this bluntly, can be really beneficial when it comes to money. So has that really been a factor in this too for you?
Yeah, super. So I oftentimes will say things that are, I'm sort of not my best hype person, right? Like having so many self-confidence issues growing up. I see literally in the chat that my coach is saying she's killing it, right? When you're saying about my team, I just, for one moment, I will brag. I have an amazing, incredible team of coaches under me that have been changing and impacting so many lives. So we have indirectly or directly impacted, from March to now when I signed up, we have indirectly helped over 150 people get their lives in order.
Wow.
And for me, that's mind blowing. Just the sheer fact that like all these people would never have been here if not for us saying yes. Right. And financially, that's crazy. I never, ever signed up to be a coach for money. That I would be lying to you if I said otherwise. But the fact I wanted to change people, I wanted to show them I can do this and you can do this. And I wanted to be the one that, look, my story is unique. I need to in total lose 170 pounds. That's a grown ass adult. Like at some point I have to be honest and say, look, not, results, not typical. Like that's not going to happen every day. Mm-hmm. But when I decided to sign up for this, it was because I wanted to genuinely make a difference and show people that are like me that there is hope, right? We don't have to end up on some freaking reality TV show to lose the weight. With that being said, financially, I have just recently been able to buy a new car. My sister's services, I was able to help pay for that. Being able to work through things as far as, helping out my family and friends. I got to go see my niece on a whim, who moved to Texas, and go spend Halloween with her, right? Like all these things, traveling and being able to have these different experiences that I wouldn't have necessarily had. Mm-hmm. For sure have been blessings that I never anticipated coming. So I'm saving now for a house. I'm, making sure that I have like a little bit of savings, that kind of stuff where, this has totally changed not just my life, but my coaches' lives as well. The ones under me have just been able to just do all these things with their lives, not worry, not stress during somebody being out of work or unemployed, being able to help out their spouse. Like there's just all these things that they say, money's and everything. No, it's not, but it is important. And so we got to make sure that we're doing what we can. And why not do it? If I would do this for free, why not get paid for it? I mean, that's just where I'm at with it. So.
Absolutely. I think the benefits that you get monetarily are the proverbial icing on the cake, what is it with me and cake all of a sudden?
I don't know. Talking about, well, I started it, I think, because I did tell you I like cake. So
yeah, exactly. But it's that's on top of the fact that we're helping, and it truly, if anybody's ever done anything where they give back, right, where they're in a position to either give back monetarily or give back knowledge or give something to other people to extend them to benefit them, it is such an amazing feeling. So being able to give back is just one of those things that this is why we do it. But being able to be compensated for it too is amazing. And when we're doing things like buying cars, saving for houses, paying off debt, going on vacations, and even that, being able to give back to, charities or helping out family or whatever it is you choose to do with your money that you earn from this, that on top of that is just, again, it's the proverbial icing on the cake. So that is why can't I can't overstate how what an important decision it was to become a coach, right?
Yeah.
Because of how much more it has benefited me, you, Alex, Sabrina, Stephanie, everybody that I've had on the show. Not only have we had our wins with our own journeys, but now we are affecting others that need the same help, or maybe that didn't want the help or didn't know they needed it, or whatever it is. We help them uncover those motivations, and they're only in a better spot because of it, if they are embracing this program. So what do we got here from Adriana? Oh, she's proud of you. We're all proud of you. You're amazing. You're gonna end up by April losing a grown-ass person, which is super cool.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah. It's so crazy to think about when you were rolling those pictures in the beginning. So you sent me this video this morning, right?
Yeah.
And it's like gone viral in my little community. And I'm just like, can you guys stop showing these pictures? They're really it's really a lot. And it's funny because it's so much to look back on, right? It's like, it's so overwhelming to be like, oh, that was me. Like, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me,
Yeah.
That's still
that
me.
was me.
Stomach later. Like, that's a lot of
and then you go, that was me. Like, I don't even, okay. Like, I can't even remember when I was like, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a good feeling to see where you've been and see where you are. And even like you said, April or May, where you're going. And we'd love to have you back on the show come April and see exactly, like, this is what she predicted back in, November of last year. Here she is,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
Josh, I just want to say one more thing. I know that with your journey, you've been able to do all these things that, I've heard you talk about some things that you weren't able to do before. A couple of things that, I do want people to know that we talk a lot about the scale and things like that, but some things that have happened for me this year have been incredible and had nothing to do with the scale. And I'm talking about like not having to ask for an extender when you're getting on the airplane seat. We went to Atlanta in July and being able to be the middle seat, right? Like the fact that I could fit in the middle seat, both trips with Latina Barbie. I was in the middle and it's one of those things where I was like, no, forget it. I'm going to sit in the middle because I can sit in the middle. Going zip lining for my 40th birthday, being able to sleep without having to have a CPAP machine, all these things. I just want, the reason I do these things, because I know I get this a lot. Well, it's easy for you to share. It's not. Like anybody that knows me, this is not easy to share. It's not easy for you to get on these things. But the reality is we do this to help inspire people that may not have otherwise seen us. So I just want to tell people to, like, really, truly, my last thing that I really want to hit home with people is, again, you are never going to be ready. If you wait till you're ready, you will be sitting here for life. And your life, unfortunately, may not be what it's supposed to be because you didn't give yourself the opportunity to have it. So
absolutely. Absolutely. And you have to get past that comfort. You have to get past that I'm scared, and you have to do it anyway. You're never going to experience growth from a place of comfort.
Yeah.
What did you text me this morning? You said, I'm like so nervous about tonight. And I'm like, what are you nervous about? Give me a break. You've done this plenty of times. I've heard you tell your story, all this, but you know what? That is exactly it. You're nervous to get on here and share these things, but you do it anyway because you know it's going to impact somebody.
Yeah.
And that is the goal. And that right there is the attitude that I think. I was just about to ask you a question, but I don't think I need to ask the question anymore. That is the attitude for people if they are on the fence, if they're not sure if this is the program for them, if this is the right time to start, or if they're not sure, if they're looking for some change and they just don't know. You do it anyway. You do it from a place of discomfort. You do it from a place of being scared. You do it from a place of not ready or not sure. You just do it.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Or else you're never going to do it.
That's right.
You're never going to do it if you don't do it right now.
Exactly.
If you don't do it right now, you're not going to do it.
Exactly.
Sabrina says, truth.
Yeah. I see the screen lighting up. I'm like, I can't catch them fast enough.
I know, right? There's no doubt that you'll telling your story today will change someone's life, and it's the truth. So thank you for your comments there, Sabrina. And thank you for everybody on all your comments and everything. You know, we're going to have this up on our Facebook pages. So if anybody's watching and you think that maybe this is something that somebody in your life could benefit from listening to these stories, go ahead and share that with them or tag them in this post. As always, you know, anybody watching, if you have questions, if you have that little, maybe I should check this out or in depth a little bit more, you can always reach out to me. You can always reach out to Andrea or anybody that we've had on here. Because I don't care if it's me, I don't care if it's Andrea, I don't care who. If you need something in your life, it's time to change and let's go.
Yeah.
LFG, right?
Yep.
Let's fucking go. Let's do it. Okay. Pardon my language, everybody. I don't know if there's any kids listening. If you are, sorry. But we're all grown ass adults here, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So anyway, I appreciate your time, Andrea. And
sure.
I think by the audience engagement, everybody loves your story. You're so inspiring to everybody. I'm just scrolling back on all the comments. You're so inspiring. And again, I don't know, what did you say, April? I want you back on the program so we can talk again, because I know you're going to have a whole new set of goals. You're going to have a whole addition to your story that you'll be able to tell, and it's going to benefit somebody. So
I'll be glad to be there. We can do
so
it in Cabo.
much,
We'll be there together.
What's that?
We can do it from Cabo. We'll be there together.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's do it from Cabo.
Put it on the calendar.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you again for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And for everybody out
Absolutely.
there, honestly, Josh is amazing. Just whatever you do, it doesn't matter who you talk to. We genuinely mean that. Just come and talk to somebody. So
absolutely. Any shout outs you want to give before we go?
Just to my team. They're amazing. You know, my group of Alex's team, you guys have been incredible. Everybody's been incredible. Jamil's organization, everybody in the West Coast, East Coast. Look, we are one big happy family. That's just the truth. And I know we could sit here and say we're not, but you guys have made this all worth it. Every single person here has made it worth it. And I will say that for my clients that have come on and trusted me with their lives, that is what made it worth it for me. Thank you for trusting me. And thanks everybody for their shout outs. I can see all the comments. We'll get back to them for sure.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So thank you so much. And hey, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.
Sure. Make good choices.
You need healthy recipes? We got them. Hit
Absolutely.
us up. So have a happy Thanksgiving with your friends, family, whoever you're spending it with, and we'll catch you next week. Take care, everybody.